The human body is capable of dealing with some incredible things like swallow living creatures or children toys. Nothing is more cringeworthy than finding out the pain you've been feeling is actually the result of a foreign object lodged in the wrong place. Here are 10 of the craziest things ever found inside the human body. Number 10. Despite what your parents have led you to believe, vegetables actually can harm you. This was true for Ronan Sedan, who suspected he was suffering from a tumor, and later found out he had a pea plant lodged in his lungs. The cough this small food caused could have been enough to turn him away from vegetables forever. Number 9. In an attempt to heighten his self-pleasure, a Chinese man thought it would be a genius idea to insert a pineapple into his behind. Maybe he stole the idea from pornographic movie, but this is the real world. And in the real world, it's earning a living hell into your anus. Results in doing a hole right through your colon into your large intestine. Unfortunately, the got stuck in the man's body cavity. Doctors were able to remove it, but he suffers from internal bleeding. Number 8. After dealing with intolerable stomach pains, an 8-year-old girl was rushed to the hospital in an effort to find out what was going on with her. What the doctors discovered was unlike anything they'd ever seen. The young girl had swallowed 30 magnets which continued to move around in their stomach due to the magnetic force. This movement caused tears in her organs, but eventually she recovered. Number 7. We all for trying eating new things, but swallowing shiny objects. Clearly this was an enjoyable activity for a French man who suffered from stomach pains after running several tests to discover what was causing the pain. The doctors were amazed to find out that they were 350 coins, multiple necklaces, and needles, all sitting in his stomach. Number 6. We have all swallowed a fly here and there. It maybe even felt or landed on one side of our ears. But we never had a clue about the horror. Something seemingly simple. A 92-year-old woman found 57 maggots inside her ear. The belief was that after a fly landed in the ear, it laid eggs and the maggots had been there for 3 days. Number 5. Finding maggots in your ear is probably disgusting, but I could think of a few other creatures who could definitely top that, like a cockroach. For instance, when Australian Hendrik Helmer photopayed in his ear, he gave it the benefit of the doubt and assumed it was a spider. He visited the doctor and some tweezers was all they needed to remove an inch-long cockroach from his ear. Number 4. We all have different ways of coping with arguments with our loved ones. I'm sure swallowing cobblestones isn't the best way to handle those situations. Apparently, a Chinese woman swallowed over 20 cobblestones in a fit of anger in her boyfriend. She thought the cobblestones like regular food. She wasn't worried. However, after suffering from stomach pains, she finally went to the hospital and the doctors performed surgery to remove them. Number 3. After years of chest pain, 20-year-old News Rangan visited a doctor who diagnosed with tuberculosis and told him he would eventually need surgery. When he finally did come in for surgery, what the doctors found was unbelievable. It turns out that Rangan had been in a terrible car accident several years earlier, when pushed belt became in between his heart and his lung. The doctors were able to remove the belt, but with the belt came some of his lung. However, luckily recovered from his freak. Number 2. In an effort to keep his fish safe and free from harm, a young Indian boy ended up not safe and free from harm. In the midst of cleaning his fish tank, he went to the bathroom to relieve himself mission. The fish looked out of his hand right up slits into his bladder. It was carefully removed now. Number 1. The worst thing ever discovered inside the human body is another human body. 30-year-old Roberto was never too concerned about his large stomach, assuming it was just some extra belly fat. However, after experiencing breath loss and suspecting it might be a tumor, The man went to his doctor and soon discovered it was actually his twin and living and growing in his stomach. They were able to remove the partially developed body existing inside of him.